Hi guys, this video is for those of you that are struggling with the exit ticket and with complete and codominance. So make sure you have your your notebook with you so you can practice along and maybe jot down some notes.
That'd be me.
So in our first example, we have in certain fish, blue scales and red scales are codominant. When a fish has the heterozygous genotype, it has a patchwork of blue and red scales. So for the genotype for the blue fish, we're going to make that BB. In a second, we're going to make it B. Oh my goodness. BB. And the genotype for the red fish we will make as RR. Now, the patchwork fish is heterozygous. It tells us that right here. So if it's heterozygous, that means we're going to use one letter from the blue fish and one letter from the red fish. And so the heterozygous fish, which is the patchwork, which means it has both red and blue, its genotype will be BR. So that's how we figure out what that third genotype is. It's heterozygous. It's part blue and it's part red. All right, let's see what the next part is. The next question says, what would happen if you breed a patchwork fish? And I think this is where some of us that are struggling are making a mistake. We have to know that one of them is a patchwork, and then we're going to cross that with one that has only blue scales. So when I draw my Punnett square, I know, now that I've circled it, that I am making one, I'm crossing one that is patchwork. And on the previous slide, we said that patchwork is BR, and I'm crossing that with something with blue scales, and according to the previous slide, that genotype is BB. So now when we fill in the Punnett square, we have BB and BB. We have BR and BR. Okay? So analyzing this, the question then is, what is the probability of having a fish with blue scales? This is why that first part is so incredibly important, because to have a blue fish, you have to have this genotype right here. And so if we look at all four boxes, what percentage of those boxes shows blue fish? And that would be 50%. In order to have red fish, according to the first part, it would have to be RR. But in this Punnett square, I don't see any RR. So that means it would be 0%. And then the last question, what is the probability of having a patchwork fish? And according to the first part, a patchwork fish is BR. And so we have these two out of four that are BR. That would be 50%. So I think the first problem that some people were having is they didn't know what they were crossing. And that's the first thing. You have to read extremely carefully when you're solving these problems. So circle it or underline it just like I did above so that you know exactly what two types of organisms you are crossing. Okay, let's go to the next one on your exit ticket. This one is about SpongeBob and how he loves to grow flowers for his pal Sandy. Her favorite flowers, which are called puffkins, are found in red, they're in blue, and they're in purple. So it says, use the information provided and your knowledge of incomplete dominance to fill out the section below. So in the reading, we've gotten a clue that this is incomplete dominance right here. So for a red puffkin, we're going to say that's RR. And for a blue puffkin, that is BB. And since it's incomplete dominance, when we combine red and blue, we get a blend of the two. And so that creates the purple. So that means that the purple is heterozygous. We need one letter from the red, and we need one letter from the blue. So now we have RB as the genotype for our purple puffkin. We can't introduce any other letters other than the R for red and the B for blue. So we're supposed to be crossing. And this is in our reading. What would happen if SpongeBob crosses a puffkin with red flowers, so we know one is red, with a puffkin with blue flowers, so the other puffkin is blue. So we're going to draw our Punnett square, and we know based on the previous slide that our red will be RR. And we know, again on the previous slide, that blue is BB. And so when we fill out our Punnett square, we have a whole bunch of RBs. So will we have, when you look at those four squares, will we have any red puffkins? Well, red is RR, and I don't see any, so that means we have a 0% chance of having red. We know, based on our previous slide, that BB is blue, and I don't see any of those, so we have a 0% chance of having any blue puffkins. And based on the previous slide, we know that purple is RB. And we have actually 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them are RB. So we have a 100% chance of having purple puffkins. All right, let me know if this helps you out at all.